Ladies and metalfish, this is your handsome and hard-boiled duelist, Daddy Janjo, the Dote, the king of draw style, the king of dames, whatever. So today, I wanted to do a special Halloween video. Last month I did an entire month, and I like to keep up with some sort of theme going on, try and do some sort of Halloween video, because I think it's fun. So thank y'all for showing up, by the way. You're the man, or the woman, or whoever may apply. So today I wanted to discuss the 3 zombie structure decks released in the TCG. So let's kick it off with the original one. This is Zombie Madness, released on January 1st, 2005. This deck I was really excited about when it came out, because at the time, you know, throughout 2002, 2003, and even some 2004, you had a lot of the anime-themed character decks, Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, and Pegasus. Like, those were cool, don't get me wrong, I was very excited about those too, but when we got these more thematic decks, it was like a whole new world, a brand new point of view was enlightened upon me, or rather enshrouded. And I even remember there being a brief mention in a Yu-Gi-Oh magazine. I think it was one of the Pojo guides, about a guy who actually took this deck to a tournament and won with it. It was probably one of those like sealed things. But it's still exciting to like hear about, right? Like, that's one of those myths and legends. Like, oh, what was that deck he ran? Was it just this? Was it like a 3-of thing? We don't really know. Now, when it came to this set specifically, we only got one new card, and that's this guy. This guy right here. Vampire Genesis. This guy kind of sucks in terms of boss monsters go. Like, he looks really cool. I mean, like, look at this. Look at this dude. He's giant, he's buff, it's purple, and he looks powerful. And he does have an effect where he has to be special summoned by your hand by banishing a vampire lord you control. And once per turn, you can discard a zombie monster to the graveyard, and then target one zombie from your grave with a level less than the discarded zombie monsters, and special summon that target. In a way, it's like a proto zombie master. I wish it was equal to or less than just less, which is kind of unfortunate. So you really kind of are downgrading the monster level. But if you have some bricky vampire cards in your hand, like Ryukoki, multiple Vampire Genesis, even a Vampire Lord, then you can bring back pretty much any low-level monster, and with the way zombie engines work, it's not that bad. Also, a downside with Vampire Lord is that he only has 2,000 attacks, so he can't beat over like a Gravekeeper Spy or a lot of other of the beefier monsters. And this is where Vampire Genesis does have the benefit with that 3,000 attack. That's actually really high just for a quick special summon, which if you're using with the Vampire Lord, which is only a 1 tribute monster, or if it comes back from the graveyard via its effect, then this guy's kind of easier to summon out than you may think. There is the argument of, is Vampire Lord just better with its effect? Yeah, maybe. I think it still has a neat effect that does make other cards live. It lets you use Book of Life, lets you perhaps reset a Pyramid Turtle. You got a lot of neat stuff going on with it. But all in all, he is unfortunately pretty bad. But when it comes to other cards in the set, so we actually got like a lot of really good cards. Again, this was a time when we didn't really get decks like these, at least in the TCG. So we got a lot of just amazing reprints. A lot of just impeccable cards, really, that you may have missed out otherwise, even in the reprint sets like Dark Beginning. You had cards, like we mentioned, Vampire Lord, Pyramid Turtle, Spirit Reaper, and Ryukaki, just monsters alone. And keep in mind, a lot of these cards also may have only received 1, maybe 2 printings. And then you had other just incredibly powerful staple cards otherwise that weren't even zombie themed. Heavy Storm, Pot of Greed, Snatch Steel, and Torrential Tribute. Just for back row. I mean, you can look at up and down this deck and just see all these amazing other cards. Mystical Space Typhoon, Giant Trinade, Nobleman of Crossthought, all in that order. I mean, even Card Return, which wasn't a played card at this time, looking back, it's still a nice printing of it that we got regardless. And then we got on October 21st, 2008, which is actually the only time the set was ever released in October. or like a zombie deck released in October, was the Zombie World structure deck in the 5Ds era. And I think seeing another zombie deck so suddenly was really nice to see, especially by this point in October 2008, right? You had a boom of zombie decks in late 2007 with cards like Ill Blood and Zombie Master. Again, more amazing reprints. All the cards you got from last set are basically here. You got that Spirit Reaper, you got that Regenerating Mummy, Ryu Koki, but then you have a ton of just other like really powerful cards, and you have also a lot more new cards as well. In fact, there were 6 new cards in this set. Red Eye Zombie Dragon, Malevolent Mech Goku N, Paladin of Cursed Dragon, Spell Shattering Arrow, Imperial Iron Wall, and Zombie World. And those last 2 cards are definitely the key here. Let's look at just Imperial Iron Wall here. This card, neither player can banish cards. I mean, that's the most basic floodgate you can have, right? Can't banish cards, neither player. Like, it's a great card that can come in and out of the meta. That's a continuous trap, right? So while it wasn't really seen right away, it definitely stops very specific decks that do a lot of banishing. And it was introduced in this zombie deck of all things, which is a little weird with cards like, I don't know how Book of Life works with it, because Book of Life you have to banish one from your opponent's graveyard. So I don't know if that card even synergizes well with it, but I think the fact that this set even has such a powerful generic card like this that isn't zombie themed is really cool. And of course, I mean, Zombie World, right? This is one of the cards that really pushed the envelope when it came to field spell decks. All monsters on the field and in the graveyards become zombie monsters, and neither player contributes summon monsters except zombie monsters. So this is just an absolutely wild card. This basically puts a stop to Monarchs. This makes your Book of Life even more powerful because you can revive like anything. This has become really like a linchpin card in a lot of zombie decks. Like, it's revolved around this. And at this time, you didn't really have field spells like this. Like, there was a couple, you know, you had Necro Valley and other like really kind of more gimmicky things, but it was far and few in between. And Zombie World was definitely one that I'm surprised we haven't seen more cards like this. In the recent memory, there was Clockwork Knight that turned stuff into machines, but like this card is kind of absurd. And I wouldn't be surprised if one day we see like a retrain of that to make it even more modernly powerful. And we still had plenty of like amazing reprints, not just cards that were from the past, but even cards that weren't included in that set. You know, Cold Wave, for example. This card's forbidden for God knows how long, and aside from the champion pack, it only had the one Pharaoh Servant, and that's a lot of cards also fall in line with that too. Look at something like Gurnia here. Gurnia only had that champion pack 4 printing, which anything in any of those like champion tournament pack things like definitely needed some more widespread reprints. Zombie Mastery mentioned earlier. This card only had that Tactical Evolution print, and now we have one of the most powerful zombie monsters of its time in this set. Just looking at a couple other cards here. Like Shrink, another card that was previously, after it being a prize card, was a Striking Neo Special Edition card. And now we have it in a structure deck that anyone can easily get for, you know, $10, right? Place at $30. Magical Stone Excavation, a card that was only in a champion pack. And aside from Zombie World, like, yeah, there was a turbo pack, but last time we'd see it more widely available in the future would be 2 years later in Structure Deck Merrick. And it's another like really powerful card that has history in the card game. So I think there's a lot to say about Zombie World that I feel unfortunately doesn't get as talked about compared to the first DM era set, compared to the later final of the zombie sets we're about to get to. But this set definitely did a lot of interesting stuff, even if the boss monster wasn't particularly interesting on its own. And by the way, if you're liking this video, definitely give it a like. And if you haven't subbed yet, consider subbing. It's a lot of people who watch this stuff isn't actually subscribed, and I make amazing content fairly often. You can just look on my channel and see. And if you want to support this further, definitely check out my Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can get early bird access, special posts and updates, and just all this amazing stuff. And if you want to share this video around, definitely do so, because YouTube likes that engagement, and you all can make this channel the greatest of all time. And so the final set we're talking about was on November 2nd, 2018. So significantly later, like a decade later, we got Structure Deck Zombie Horde. This deck is bad ass. Let me see. It's one of my favorite structure decks that Konami has released. For 10 years, that is so many eras, so many cards that were released, that zombies have upgraded significantly since that time. And I think Konami knew this. I think they knew that it was time to have a reloaded deck. It's a great way to get people to play zombies too, because if you have a reloaded deck in a modern sense in contemporary times, then you can have people try out zombies and really get a whole new deck and really understand what zombies are entirely about. Now this set we got even more new cards. We got 9 new cards. These include Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon, which is the one monster right here, Doom King Baladrock, which is the other monster right here, which we don't really see multiple monsters on box arts too often. We got Tatsu Necro, Necro World Banshee, Glow Up Bloom, Zombie Necronize, Zombie Power Struggle, Return of the Zombies, and Haunted Shrine. Haunted Shrine we actually see some decent play in some, I want to say rogue decks in early speed duels. But I think the big cards here, there's definitely 3 of them. One of which was the boss monster, one of the 2 boss monsters, Doom King Baladrock. This guy is insane. You know, this is the kind of card that you could run 1 copy. You can even run 3 copies. I love playing 3 of this guy in my zombie decks around that time. When there's like a zombie world, he gets like all these like extra stuff. A once per chain, not even a once per turn. With a quick effect, he can do all this like crazy stuff too. He can like revive monsters, negate effects, he can banish stuff. This guy's like a jack of all trades. He's not a jack of bowling, but he's a jack of all trades. And it really added like a nice boss monster that wasn't like a synchro monster, and it wasn't Vampire Genesis to the zombie strategy, which I think gave the deck a lot of firepower that they really needed. And to get to that, you had some other powerful support monsters. You had Necroworld Banshee, which I'm surprised we haven't so far seen more Necroworld cards. But Necroworld Banshee gets a protection for Zombie World, and it can also banish itself to pull a Zombie World from your hand or deck to the field. And this is like really nice with 1800 attack. Like now you have something that can really get you more utility and more usage out of Zombie World than before, than playing just like field protection cards. So Necroworld Banshee really did a lot, as well as did Glow Up Bloom, which is kind of similar to Glow Up Bulb. It's the zombie version of it, which is really cool. I like those zombie-fied monsters. It's a tuner, level 1, which is like, what more can you ask for? You can banish from the grave to add a higher level zombie monster from your deck, and if you have a zombie world, you can special summon that to the field, which is also really strong. It does lock you into zombie monsters, but if you're playing this deck, it's probably fine. You're probably not playing too many extra deck non-zombie monsters. So that's just like another get powerful cards out, and that's what the whole strategy. Use Zombie World, affect the whole field, maybe play cards like Rivalry of Warlords, and just get these strong monsters and just keep them coming. Keep this zombie horde coming, and your opponent's going to be overwhelmed by it. Because like, not only did it reprint old cards and also give us new flair for the zombie deck. I mean, Goblin Zombie, we got Scapegoat. Like, that's a fun card. Some Shiranui cards. Shiranui Solitaire is really good. Unizombie, Pyramid Turtle, Gozuki, Mizuki. Like, this gave you everything, right? Like, everything you could ask for from a zombie deck was in this. Anti-Spell Fragrance? Like, oy vey. It's insane. It created like a whole new strategy, and it really modernized the zombie deck in a lot of ways, which I think is a great way for a deck to do this. Sometimes decks may only come out with like a couple new cards, some of which may be good, some of which may be like good just reprints to get. But I think Zombie Horde really knocked it out of the park when it came to not only showcasing old school zombie cards like Pyramid Turtle and Zombie Master, but showcasing where zombies could go from here with cards like Glow Up Bloom and Baladrock, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Zombie Madness, Horde, World, which one is your favorite? Which one do you like the most? All 3 had something going for them, and they're probably the most repeated structure deck theme of all time. I mean, maybe we'll get another one day. I don't know when that day will be. It'll probably be a while if I had to guess. But I can't wait to see what more support we'll have They're slowly doing more like zombie fusion, like ghost fusion stuff, and Red Eyes, Necros stuff. So I'm really excited to see where this zombie structure decks kind of evolve, because I'm sure we'll see another one day, just on the basis of it seems to be the popular one by Konami. So yeah, let me know what you think, and until then, have a happy Halloween.